Hey everybody, it's Dan and Angela
With Heart to Heart.
with Heart to Heart, and we're glad to see you all today. And we got a video we want to share with you regarding the convention, the 2023 Exercise Patient Convention in Idaho.
Right.
And woke up this morning and Angela said, it's Father's Day, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm thinking, that convention sometime around June or something. So I went on my iPhone, and sure enough, it was this weekend in Nampa, Idaho. And we're like, well, why don't we just go to a couple hours of it and see what kind of, false prophecies they're projecting and, what they're doing, what they're up to. So we put on our suit. I put on my tie.
You show me a picture
of
us.
Yeah, we put our suit tie. Here's a picture of us. This is at the convention.
Just a little bit ago.
Just a little bit ago.
Today.
This is today. And anyway, we went over there, and I was a dead giveaway that I was an apostate. You know how I was a dead giveaway? You will not believe it. The way I was a dead giveaway is I had this. I had the Bible. And Angela looked around. What did you say?
I said, Dan, no one has any of these Bibles.
Angela,
no one has a Bible.
And I said, no, everybody's got a Bible. Everybody has Bibles. And Angela goes, no, nobody. And I'm telling you, I looked around. Nobody had a Bible.
No.
And then the elder behind me says, where did you get that antique? And I said, what antique? He goes, the Bible. And he says, I haven't had one of those in 10 years. And I said, you're joking me.
He said he has an open one for 5.
Yeah, he has an open one for 5. He said, but we haven't been using a Bible, the Silver Sword, for 10 years. So I took a picture. I wanted to show you right here of the tablets. We were looking down the hall. Everybody had a tablet. You see that?
Yeah.
Everybody. All the way down, every aisle. I even shot one over a guy's head. Here's the guy trying to tell us how the tablet worked. He's like, here's the tablet. It's really sophisticated. And he had my Bible in his hand. That's my Bible. That's the only Bible that was in there. And then I shot a picture. Here's Angela. Here's Angela being no good, smiling away, in the assembly. But anyway, I shot a picture over the guy's head. Again, like I said, it was all tablets. Anyway, that was the first shock and awe. Like, oh my God. He goes, we're going to open our Bible now. Nobody opened a Bible. Everybody went, we're ready like with their tablets, to go like this. It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We never seen such a thing. I was holding my camera over people's heads and taking pictures of the guy in front of me and all this kind of stuff. But we were really blown away. And then, let's see, what would you say happened next, Angela? What was the biggest?
About 3,400 people there today. They had 3,700 the other day, but they said that the sound was very poor. And I think that scared away some people because that's a lot of hours to sit and listen.
They said they couldn't hear a thing.
Oh,
it was in the what was it called? The center, Ford Center.
Ford Center.
And they said they couldn't hear anything. It was like horrible sound over the speakers. And they said it was really annoying. So 38 people, 100 the other day, and then what, 34 today. And so it was crazy. And so anyway, during the course of this thing, of course, they had the new music about being patient, and they played those songs over and over. I don't know how many times, at least 2 at the end and 1 in the beginning, the same song.
It's the theme song. It was their theme song about,
yes,
waiting patiently. So it's very, very well done. I would say it's like a top 40 kind of a song. It's worth a lot of money because it was so well done, kind of romantic, and makes you all feel like one, and we're all waiting together patiently. It's real emotional. It was really powerful. So, Rick Farron, if you know that, Rick Farron on 6 Screens, he's talking about how that they're manipulating people. The best and powerful way is through emotion now, as opposed to any other way. And I would say that's true based on what we saw today.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And those videos were emotional.
Yeah,
and they were really well done. And we only saw a few of them. We saw probably 4 or 5, but they said that over the 3 days, how many did they play?
70 videos.
70 videos, 70 programs, emotional music, movement, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
70 videos.
Yeah, no, when I went to my very first convention that Dan took me to 5 years ago, I guess maybe it was, in Fort Collins, Colorado. We're in Idaho now. But anyway, I remember going in there and they did a big drama, and it was really powerful and emotional and guilt-ridden and shame-ridden and all of that. And I'm like, wow, that is effective. I can see now why your mentor, used plays and dramas to get you
Yes.
back out again, because she understood how powerful that they use them to get you hooked in. So I thought that that was really interesting. And now they had 70 videos this weekend.
Yes.
70. And so they have learned that hooking you
Yes.
good is through drama. You see it drama, and you get emotionally
Sound, sight,
involved.
hearing.
All the senses were all there and very effective. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now here's, guys, where this thing gets really creepy. This thing got really, really creepy.
Yeah.
Now, this was all honey and romance, and you know what I mean? It was really, you know, it really drew you in. You know, it was like, these people are good people. The people were friendly. Angela even thought, wow, these people look good.
Yeah,
You know, they
did.
don't look like they're all screwed up mentally or
Nope,
anything. They're
they
all
don't.
dressed in ties and orderly.
And as jewelry like anybody else has, all these earrings on their ears, and they look just like everyday people. And I was surprised because when I've been in other kingdom halls, they look mentally ill. They really did.
Other religious places, they really look like they're, you know, back in the 60s or something. But it
Yeah.
was interesting that everybody's dressed in modern suits, modern ties, modern
Everybody
dress.
has a tablet, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's $300 for those
expensive
tablets.
tablets. These are really expensive. This
Yeah.
guy gave me a whole tutorial that here's how you look up a scripture, and then here's how you expand on the scripture, and another box drop down. And here's how you get
3 different
do
translations.
yeah, it was what was it? The
The
King James.
the New World Translation and reference.
Yeah,
Is that what that
something.
third?
There was another one, but there's 3 translations within one, and so on and so forth. So he's giving me this whole tutorial, and I didn't mince words. I told him who I was, what I was. I didn't tell him I was an apostate and I wrote a book and I have a big channel, but I told him why I left in Generation Prophecy. I went through and explained it all.
He thought you faded, right?
No, I told him I left. Yeah, so I guess he thinks maybe I faded, but I told him why, and I told him the Generation Prophecy. You know, when I mentioned it to the elders, they looked at each other, and next thing you know, I got a letter from Brooklyn, New York, saying I'm on apostate watch, and he said that should have never happened to you. That should have never happened. We don't do things like that, and I said, yeah. My uncle told me one day when I asked, you know, how long would it take me to come back? He says, oh, it'd be a long time. Yeah, you know, so this guy was telling me if you just drifted away and came back, we know people, he said, that have left and come back and been reinstalled, you know, 3 months, 6 months, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, so, you know, we got a lady right now, 3 months, and she's all back, and she's been out 20 years. And so anyway, because I said, you know, it's like a 2 to 10 year sentence. And he goes, oh, no, that's not. And he said, that's only in those congregations that are, what did he say? That
Well,
were
he said that if they're good old boys.
good old boys. He said, those are those good old boys. He said, unfortunately, we still have some of those good old boys congregations. Now, this was an elder we were
I
talking
think he
to.
used some other word too, renegade, or I don't know, some sort of other
Yeah.
word. But that there are some that are not doing it right. I think that's how he put it.
Yes.
So,
And
yeah.
so anyway, but when we walked in, okay, so we walked in, and the very first thing they did was play the song, and then they started the drama. And I just want to say this about the drama. It wasn't like dressing in the old clothes and running around the stage. You've seen that before.
Yeah.
This was like a movie on big screens
In modern day.
in modern day. And I'll just say some things, and then you can add in if that's
Yeah.
okay. But basically, they were on a journey to a camp, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like telling what's going to happen here in the near future. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so when we came in, this was part 2 of this journey, but they were like in Africa, right? Was it Black family?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were trekking along this road, and their car broke down, and they said, we must get to the camp. Now, I was thinking convention, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
And-
And there was another car that was broken down in front of their car.
Yes. And then another car passed by,
When they were-
loaded down.
That was when they were on their trek, and they'd been trekking for 4 days, maybe say.
Yeah, a car passed them, and it was like they had everything that they had from their house on that
That
car.
they could manage to get.
You know, like the old days when they tied everything on top. Well, it passed by, but as you were going down this road, like Angela said, there was a car broken down, and then another car broken down, and everyone's walking, right?
Yeah.
So they focused in on this one family that was walking, and of course it was hard, and we didn't know if we could make it. Now, this movie was well done, wasn't it?
Mhm.
It was very well done, very well done. The old guy looked like a sage, and he's like, you know, have courage and keep going, and, you know, don't put Jehovah's timeline kind of in a box, just trust in Jehovah and keep going. So, but anyway, it's so full of drama. It was amazing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the old man died, and They're
halfway
sitting-
through the whole journey,
Yeah,
you know. And then about a little bit after that is when you see this station wagon type car, old fashioned, going down this dirt, it's all dirt roads.
Yeah.
And like it was said, back in the 30s, you know, you saw the wagons loaded with furniture and all that. They had everything they could fit into that car and on the roof, piled high, and to the gills. And they were one of the few that made it in a car because everyone else broke down or they ran out of gas or something. Not maybe the idea is that you weren't prepared well enough.
yeah.
So anyway,
And so, you know, they were kind of prepared, weren't they? I think they had a
Well,
few things with them.
now
didn't
that the son and his wife
Yeah.
weren't, the father that had been warning them, he was prepared. He had his backpacks and all that. Whereas his son and his wife, they were not prepared because they didn't listen to the father. They didn't listen to the elders, whoever, and they really were not prepared. So they had to share their resources that they had brought along.
Yeah.
The father.
And the father was of great encouragement, but then he died. And then
On
after
the
he
trip.
died, one of the young boys got very angry. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Let's go back home where it's safe. Now, here's weird, guys. This is weird. Because in the end of this thing, there is no home. It's like the homes got burned up or something,
But, well,
wasn't
they
it?
don't know that.
They don't know
They
that.
don't know
They
that.
don't know that yet, but there's this intention to follow blindly. Don't you feel?
Oh, yeah.
There's an intention to follow blindly. We must get to the camp. And like I said, in my mind, in the old dramas that they had, it was get to the convention and go through the puddles and the snakes and the piranhas and, you know, swim across the gorge, but you're going to get to the assembly. But this was not the case. They were dredging this long, arduous journey across fields, and then they had people like come by, like, what would you call those people that come by in the backs of trucks, like militant
Yes.
African, you know, recluse, and they're driving by with machine guns and
Kind of look for people to kill, right? Like looking for these guys.
yeah, or rape the women or whatever. So
Yeah,
this whole
oh.
truckload comes by, and they heard him coming, so they jumped in the weeds. But one of the little boys dropped his bottle over, so the one, you know, Nigerian picked up the bottle and poured it out and started walking in the weeds, and they're all hiding and you know, and all this. And the guy just starts firing shots in the air, and they just happen to stay quiet. And
They didn't get found. They did not get found that time. So they dumped out their water and then they all finally took off. Another time it happened again and they literally got one of the people. We don't even know whatever happened
Yeah.
to that guy.
everybody fled. Somehow they just came up on them. And the two boys, young boy and young girl, fled into the woods and they were chasing them. And then one of the guys got caught.
Yep, one guy that they thought that was it, a father, maybe it was a father and two children. So they caught the one guy, think that was the parent, and then the kids got away. But there was still more hiding in the weeds second time around.
Yep.
They
And
were-
so, and I think that's when the one guy, the dissenter, was saying, we got to go back.
Yeah, let's go back home.
He's
He's
like-
always been trying to get him to go back home.
Yeah, this one guy saying, please, let's just go back. You know, grandpa's sick. So-and-so just died. You know, she's really bad shape because people are dying on this journey and whatever. And they're saying, no matter what, now this is weird, guys, no matter what, we must get to this encampment
Right.
in
And
the
the,
middle of the woods.
and the one father who was never okay with going back, he told his kids on one of those night stops that, look, whatever happens, son, you know, whatever goes on, we must get to the camp no matter what happens. I think he even said, should anything happen and we get separated, just get to the camp. So he had made that very strong
Yeah.
proclamation. That's what our goal is, no matter what. And they did get separated and the little boy and girl had to figure their way
Yep.
to the
And they
camp.
told him, no matter what, go to the camp, don't go back. So they said they will listen to Jehovah. And of course, the wife saying, you know, I'm going to find those kids. We're not moving. And the husband says, no, we must go to the camp. We told the kids to go to the camp. So they're all going to this destination.
Except for this one recluse guy who's just being a real pill.
And he went the other way.
He
didn't
was like the devil, right? And trying to tempt you to do what you do not believe in doing. And that's how they portrayed this guy. Okay. He's like the tempter. And he did actually separate and finally had it. And he went back home alone, without food, without water, without car. And amongst those renegade people, they're still trying to find anybody on the road, right? But he did, he left. So anyway, they finally made it. He
Yep.
made it to their old house.
Excuse me.
He made it back to the house and guess what he saw? Go ahead.
Yeah. So let me just go back to the camp
Oh.
real quick. So they landed at the camp. He landed at home. So when they got at the camp, of course, the mother and father were interested in finding the kids.
Yes.
So they were searching, have you seen these kids? Have you seen these kids? And nobody's seen them. Then all of a sudden, of course, they see them and they run to them. And there's all this music, like I said, like Lion King, you know, beautiful music, wasn't it? And this big embrace and all this. And then all of a sudden, the camera goes to the guy who went back home. Now, this is very strange. I know I keep saying this, but the house was burnt. It wasn't burnt to the ground, but it was burnt.
Yeah, everything inside was burnt to a crisp.
Yeah. And so the guy's picking up the newspaper and picking up, like there was nothing to come back to. I feel like they're telling these people that get ready, you may have to evacuate your home.
Oh, yeah, they are absolutely.
They're telling them as you have your to-go bag ready so that you can meet in these tent cities. Because, okay, here's the other thing. When they got to the tent city and they showed this aerial of all these tents, they were there giving each other clothes and stuff, weren't they?
Everybody got something. It was
Like packages.
They'd shown it from earlier in the video that we saw today in the very beginning, where people that were getting there were given these blanket and something else and something else. I don't know, whatever it was. And then off you go. You're to go down there. And everybody was being done the same way. There was a line of people who had just arrived, and everybody's trying to get into the camp, and everybody's given the same stuff, kind of like as if you're a prisoner and you're giving your clothes and your soap and your this and your that, and there's your room over there. It was like that, and everybody getting the same thing that came in.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird. And it was
and what I thought was weird was the little boy looks at his dad. Now you tell me what I'm missing here, but the little boy looked at his dad and says, how long are we going to have to stay here in this camp? And he said, as long as Jehovah says for us to stay, right?
Yeah.
And he says, well, I want to go home or something. And wasn't like, don't worry about home or, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe that's when they showed the guy's house burn up or something.
No, I mean, they don't know anything about that. And they probably never will.
They showed it to us though.
Yeah. So the boy and the father were sitting in two chairs in the camp, somewhere in the camp. And the boy's just sitting there relaxing, and they're relaxed. And he goes, Dad, you know, when are we going to go home? And he said, well, son, we don't know that. That's Jehovah's business. And we're just thankful that we have food and we're safe and we've got a place to stay. And, you know, we're just thankful. That's all. That's what we are. We're going to continue to be thankful, and we're not going to worry about that right now. That's not, we don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah. And at some point the kid got handed a Bible from his grandpa. Gave him the Bible, you remember? But when he was by the water, he says he wanted you to have this.
Oh, yeah, I think that was before they ever.
It was, yeah, it was. But anyway, it was just like, be happy with Jehovah's provision.
Yeah.
In the camp. And I think that's interesting because I wrote down a thing that they were telling people. They were saying, continue to do your evacuation training in the hall. That was one of the things that they were going to practice.
Yeah.
You know, so like Angela said, maybe on certain days they're going to bring their altar go bags or whatever, and then set the alarms off, and everybody leaves. Their home is ready to go, ready to flee into the forest, into the mountains. So this was what I want to say is this is what was so sad, because you're thinking these people literally have to follow blindly these men. They have to be ready to give up their homes. Are they going to give up their homes before they leave? Are they going to sign them over to Jehovah? You know how they're doing with the kingdom halls? They sign them over to the society, and then all of a sudden the society starts selling them at will.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing with their homes. I'm just speculating, but I'm wondering if that would be something they do out of faith. You sign your home over to Jehovah, and then you get ready to abandon it when they tell you to.
Yeah, who knows?
Because they're telling them, you will leave it behind. And the fact that guy made it home and his home was burned up, they kept saying there's nothing to go back to on the road when they were on the journey. They kept saying, remember, because they were all saying, the kids were saying, I want to go back. They were all saying, maybe we should turn around. They were all like, you know, how much further? They're like, we're almost there. And it was like, there's nothing to go back to.
You didn't even catch
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what the heck? And so what are these guys feeding them? What are they telling them? And why did they show that thing when the kid went back home? It wasn't like he went back and he died, but he went back to a burnt up place. So by following Jehovah, they ended up into a tent city in the wilderness, and the other guy went back home, but there was no more home. So
And it was all their home, you know what I mean?
yeah, it was all their
It
home.
was
Yeah.
part two, so me and Dan are having to, kind of piece it together a little bit anyway, but, I mean, the message was clear. We're preparing you to have to-go bags and make sure that the guy listed the items in the movie, your passports, your birth certificates,
Yep.
your elders' phone numbers. He went down the line to make sure all these things that you have in your to-go bag, so that you're ready and that you don't feel bad later. You're prepared to go in an instant.
Yeah.
Because it's as if they're going to make a phone call to everybody in the middle of the day, Tuesday afternoon, and okay, guys, it's time to go. The location that you've been told to go there now, and then off you go to that camp. Like everyone's been assigned. It just seemed like that's what the plan was, and
Yep.
they're really preparing these people. And
Blind obedience.
Yeah.
Don't question, don't do anything. And it was almost like that order was stamped in their head. Get to camp, get to camp, get to camp.
Yeah, and then they repeat it again, the whole thing that we keep hearing them say, and that's that, look, we're gonna give you orders, but that may not make sense, but you need to obey, you need to trust and obey. It was along that line.
Yes.
They repeated that again during this today. We
Yeah,
heard it,
over
we
and
heard it
over and
again.
over and over. Patience, patience, patience.
Yes.
What's Jehovah doing right
Yes,
now?
trust.
Why they extended the 144,000, because Jehovah's so loving, and I don't know, something like they're bringing in the best last or something. But what we can tell you is this, guys, they have heightened the programming. They've elevated it. The music is elevated. The movie you're watching elevated. It really pulled you in. People were crying.
Yeah.
People were wiping tears.
Yeah, no more this old-fashioned googly guck that's
Yeah.
old-fashioned as the
No
hills.
more dramas where they're all dancing around and they're,
Outfits from the back of
Israel.
the day.
Yeah,
the Bible
no, this is
days.
like real time. And in the beginning, that was shocking too. You remember the beginning? They were showing the people in prison and concentration camps and big government buildings. And they were basically, the message they were trying to say is, we're going to go through hell, or we've been through hell. People have been locked up. They showed people sitting in cells and then people coming out and they were embracing them, and then people in courtrooms and then JW.org holding up plaques. And
So in other words, we're going to be persecuted, guys,
yes,
but we're going to get out.
Yes.
And there will be freedom, and just be patient.
yes,
That you'll be getting out soon
yeah,
enough.
big martyr stuff. And it was
Yeah.
weird. Like even the people that were dying, it was like, we got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. We're going to have people die. We're going to have so-and-so. We'll see them in the new system.
Yeah, kind of like, a thousand may fall on your left hand side, or 10,000 on your right, but you keep going and focus on Jehovah, right? It's kind of like that kind of mindset. And then even in the people that got imprisoned, they were shown reading their Bibles together in little groups in the prison. And, so they were just trying to say, no matter what happens on this next phase of life here, that if you get put in prison or whatever things that go on with you, just know that Jehovah will get you out on that day of his promise. Kept using the day of God's promise, this kind of thing was being said a lot. And then there'll be a big embracing and celebration. And it was pretty intense getting people ready for what they say is about ready to happen, is what they're saying. So a great manipulation, because I'll tell you what, you don't want to be anywhere else if you're in the right group. That they're kind of putting this on you, that this is about ready to happen, and that the world's going to end, and so you need to be prepared to go to these camps. See, my church, I was Worldwide Church of God, and they said that we're going to go be I think we all believe that we were going to be taken by angels, transported to like the safe place of safety, we called it.
Mhm.
And it was also called Petra, and there's actually a place called Petra somewhere in the world, dry and arid, that we were to be going to. Interesting, you guys' camp that they had for those particular Africans were in a very dry Petra kind of a place.
Yeah.
It was just a flat land of grass, and it wasn't beautiful. It just was a whole bunch of flat land with tents being set up one by one as people needed them. So it was very odd and yucky. I wouldn't want to be involved in that.
No.
I just wouldn't. The whole thing made me sad. you know.
Yeah, and it was sort of about we have each other. It was like nothing about anybody out there. It was all we're going to get what Jehovah says he's going to give us. It was
Yeah, the
just selfish.
promise, the
Yeah,
promises.
Jehovah's going to give us what he promised. We're going
Right.
to get, I forget the wording, but it was very strong, you know.
Kind of like back in the day when it was is that, you know, just soon we'll have occupancy and God will destroy the wicked, right? It was the same today, only just said in slightly more gentle terms as
Yeah.
to not offend is what it seemed like. They reworded things so that they can not
Yeah.
make people scream.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like.
And then I
Like
asked,
us.
yep. And then I asked about Ramapo, you know, the media center. And I said, what's going on with a media center? And the guy that was from Bethel, he told me, he said they don't do anything in the black or in the red. It has to be in the black, or, you know, it has to be paid off. He said before they do anything, it's got to be paid off.
Oh,
And so he knew so much. I wish I had recorded them.
wow. Yeah, these people that sat behind
Was
us.
red in the red good or black?
I don't know, the black, because the red is you don't have enough money,
Yeah,
so you're in the
he
black.
said it's got to be in the black before we start a project or something. We don't do anything in the
Yeah.
red.
So he lives in Wallkill with his wife who sat behind me. And so this is
I'll
this
show you a
daughter
picture
and
of him.
son-in-law of this guy that showed us how the new way of the Bible is. They're very, very, very nice people. They live in a little 1-bedroom, maybe not even a bedroom, but it may probably a 1-bedroom with a small kitchen, a kitchenette. They said that's them living in Wallkill together in his little room with a little kitchenette. And then she works in laundry, and then he works in what does he do, Dan? What'd you say he does? That's the guy that taught us how to use the new Bible.
Yeah, tablet.
Yeah. So what did the other guy do in Bethel?
He just works in the press and magazines or something.
Yes. And he said that they're making Bibles. So I'm like, oh, how weird it is that they don't use Bibles anymore. Not a person.
And a lot of the literature comes out of Canada too.
And yet they're making these Bibles.
Yeah.
Is it because the new kingdom that they're going to try to tell people the new kingdom, we're not going to have these tablets anymore, so we got to go back to these Bibles?
Yeah, and how effective are the tablets going to be out in the middle of the
and everybody
wilderness?
in Africa were using these Bibles.
Yeah, I was going to hold up mine because he said we don't use it anymore. I was going to say, look, they're using it in Africa. I got mine. You know,
so they're making Bibles right now, printing Bibles.
Yeah, and booklets and that sort of thing. Now, here's what the big focus was, though.
Yeah, what is it?
The big focus was all this is for the resurrected people. Even Ramapo, they said this media center. I said, what's with the media center? You know, they're already, you know, I was talking to this elder. I said, why are they building this media center in Ramapo? They already make videos. And he goes, we're recording all this so we can show the people that get resurrected, you know, what life was like on earth and all of this stuff. They won't believe it. So he said, we're doing this record. Yeah, you know, so Ramapo is all of these videos of our modern times and what we've had to endure to show the brothers and then to kind of catch them up. But it's all for those resurrected.
For the training. So this is what they are saying to the people. First of all, in the very beginning of the whole thing today, they said that we've got this program of teaching and this one and this one and this one and the Pioneer Teaching School and this school and that school, all these schools. I'm like, my God, it seemed to me like it's worse than ever. And then in Ramapo, he said it's just a bunch of training. It's lots and lots of training at Ramapo that they're creating training in media, so that when the resurrection happens, all these people will then be taken to this place of training and trained.
Yeah.
And so that's what their jobs are
like
now.
Training camps.
Right. Training camps. Right.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
They said we are in training.
Their mind is on the new kingdom, the new system, and they're preparing to train people.
Yeah, and here's another thing with the tablets. I was shooting over the top of these people. You could see the tablets. I mean, isn't that crazy? Everybody had them. Let me see what else I have here. That was another one. I think I might have showed you that one, but it's all the way down.
There was one guy that went down the aisles, and we saw him out when Dan and I were walking into the building, up the aisleway. We saw this guy. He looked like a CIA agent. And he had a bag like that. He acted like that. He was really creepy. And then towards the end of the whole thing today, we're all sitting, you know, and we're all sitting in our chairs. And he came down when the service wasn't over yet. And he had a big satchel, like a leather bag. And I'm telling you what, he seemed like a CIA agent. I'm just telling you.
Take a look at this video, just the tablet use and stuff.
Turn it a little bit different. No, it's just showing one person only.
It'll kind of,
Crazy.
see, everybody's got those tablets. They're all just working away on them. I know it's hard to see,
Yeah,
sorry.
and so they underline on them and change the colors on the verses that they want to, remember. They can yellow them, pink them. They can do whatever they want with their tablets to like you would yellow a Bible or pink, colors on a verse. They can do that with their tablets. And that's all the people. It's very full, you guys. They're 30, I feel like it was 34,000 people, but there's me. Oh gosh. I'm trying not to be so obvious because, nobody else was filming in there. Nobody. We saw no one taking pictures, no selfies, no anything. Nobody did anything. It was very odd. Me and Dan were the only ones filming anything the whole time, right? Never did you see anyone take a picture.
No.
Not even when it was over.
That's
That was
that's what
kinda
the
strange.
stage looked like with big screens up there and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, I was, you guys, the other day we were talking on Six Screens about the blood and how that, why couldn't they come up with a way that if someone needed blood, the mother could just go in and donate for the child, or she could donate blood, knowing she had a surgery coming up for herself, or get blood from her husband if she really needed it, because they're one, right? They're one, to become one, but they don't allow any planning of any kind with regard to the need of blood.
It's
And
a great point.
I'm so disturbed by it. And there's just so many things like that. There was one, and that's just the reason why I was thinking of it right here, is something that another thing that they could be doing along that line. Now my brain would just, I can't even think what I was going to say about it, but it's weird that certain things they don't like have good plans, not good thinking ahead.
Well, that blood thing you were saying, like drawing their own blood and saving it
but
for themselves,
but this was a whole nother thing like that today that I noticed that they could be doing to so the people could be prepared, but they don't. And I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, it's disturbing, but the whole thing was really sad because, I know it was to do with Father's Day. I hear those fathers are there, and I'm thinking, wow, look at all these young sons in here that are just rejected their Father's Day. They're not going to call their father and say, Dad, thanks for being such a good dad. I really appreciate you and all that you sacrificed for our family. And I just want you to know, I really, really appreciate you, Dad, on this day that we try to take some time out to say, hey, Dad, you know what? I haven't seen you for a good month. So let's go out to breakfast today. I just want to tell you that I love you. I want to spend some time with you. Is it just a day to set aside to remember your parents, to remember the one that brought you up? And okay, so say, okay, I understand it's worldly because a worldly person and their way of looking at it set it up. But why can't the Jehovah's Witnesses have a day of just saying, let's just have a thanks to our parents' day? Why can't they come up with their own then? Why can't they come up with their own Thanksgiving to Jehovah on Thanksgiving? Why can't they just make it a little less painful? Because why would you not want to thank your parents? Okay,
right.
So I understand a worldwide, it's like, they might get puffed up with pride, and they might think that they're, whatever, it might make you thinking wrong, where you think you're more than you are, something along the line of that. But you guys, this is foolishness, because do you not appreciate your boss saying what a good job that you did? Do you not appreciate your children saying, Mom, I love you. Thanks for being, such a good mom. Once in a blue moon, you might hear that, but it doesn't make you feel good when you do get it. And so, why would God, does God not love it when we say to God, Lord, I just thank you for all that you've done for me. Thanks for being such a good father to me in this world, Jehovah God, for being such a good father in my life. And you're the best father in the world. And thank you for my father on earth. And you blessed me with such a good one. And, God likes it, don't you suppose? And so if God likes a little bit of thanks, why would we not think that our own fathers, or, me thanking Dan, if he was my husband that had my children, which I don't have children with Dan, but let's say his two girls were our children. I was like, honey, thank you for being such a great dad to our girls. I forget to tell you, but you are the best dad that the girls could have ever had. And thank you so much for your great job. I really appreciate you. I'm really glad I married you because you're the best dad in the world. Thank you, honey. And I do mean that, by the way.
Nicely.
And he has great girls, and I love these girls. But why, guys? Why is this? Again, not taking care of the people and robbing them. Why this robbing? And so all these dads were in there today, not being thanked by their children, not being taken out to eat, not taking their own fathers out, their children not being allowed to say Happy Father's Day. I don't know, you guys, that was sad to me. I mean, I was raised Worldwide Church of God, and that was one holiday that we did keep. Thanksgiving we kept, and we also kept Father's Day and Mother's Day. But we didn't do the other ones like you guys didn't, but those we did. And I think that's appropriate, because I do appreciate God for providing this land for us to live on, a land of freedom, and barely, but we've enjoyed a lot of freedom here, and a lot has happened because of that freedom, and I'm very grateful. And so why would we not thank God? One day, let's just take some time out to thank God for all that he's done for us. So anyway, again, why can they not have an alternate day if it's worldly, put together by worldly men? Why can we not have a plan?
Right.
Anyway, I just complained, but it would bother me today that they were so damn selfish.
Yeah.
Because why? Because they're so narcissistic.
Gotta follow
Narcissistic.
instructions, gotta be obedient, we gotta be different than the world.
Yeah, but also too, because they want all the praise, because they want all the attention, because they want all the attention on them. Narcissistic, right?
Yep.
Psychopaths, really. And so I'm like, wow, it disappointed me. It really did that we went there on Father's Day, and that all these people that we saw today were roped into that. And anyway, we also saw a girl on my right who did not want to be there. She's from Puerto Rico. I asked her because she had a funny voice, and she was kind of harassed by some lady that came up to her and said, aren't you going to visit around? She'd been sitting for half an hour before the service started, not doing anything but sitting, fiddling on her phone. And then the whole thing started, and all she did was fiddle on her phone. I see she's texting, doing things. She's doing out a card to somebody, and everybody else had tablets, everybody in the whole place, but not this girl. She didn't. When it came time to sing, she got up and went to the bathroom, and she came back. She did it again. The next song, she absolutely did not want to be there. She was beside herself. The lady came up and said, "Aren't you visiting anybody?" "Oh yeah, I did." And she says, "Okay, well, I want to make sure that you're saying hi to people and getting around and stuff," and just kind of like bossing her, like controlling her. She didn't like it. And then the guy on the other end of Dan's end, an old guy, and he was looking this way straight when the song to sing and to see is over there. And he wasn't singing, and he had a frown on his face, like, "I don't like this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to sing this stupid song."
70 videos.
Some people did not like it. I can just tell you right now, some people did not like it.
No.
And but it bothered me to this other lady that sat down on below us. She had just sent her kid off to Bethel, and then the other younger kid was going to be going soon, as soon as he was old enough, sending their kids off to Bethel. And she was just all like bothered about it, and like, "Oh my gosh, my kid just went off to Bethel." And the other lady says, "Oh, you'll get used to it, it'll be fine." And I'm like, oh my God, all the stories I know about Bethel and people I know have been abused there. I'm like, oh my God, you sent your kids off to, oh my God, you don't know what you've done. And I just was horrified, like, you have no idea what you've just done, and yet the people that were in Wallkill, husband and wife team, were very, very, very nice. So I don't know, we know people have been terribly, terribly abused in there. And so I don't know. I don't think it's safe. I don't.
Yeah.
But some people were nice, though.
Definitely.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely some agenda there, though, that we don't know about. Some big thing they're planning.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, somebody found out what was in the boxes. Did you guys hear about this? I just learned today.
I think they did. It was a track.
I
think it was on Rick Farron show. The PMOs opened the box or something.
PMO opened the box.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I heard. I don't want to say exactly, but they said it was a track, but who knows? Who knows? All we know is it's strange. It's weird behavior. It seems weird that you would not open up a box for a little stupid tract in November, which, unless there's something big happening in November, you know what I mean? But it's just weird that they're preparing them to leave their belongings behind. They're telling them they're going to be out here till Jehovah says, and we may never go back. We're going to be here. And so it is like they're taking it to go back, to be ready to go into the woods. And I don't know, I wouldn't put it past, this is my speculation, but I would not put it past governing body to say, sign your homes over to us and tell them to leave. I mean, it's that weird. It was that
Or
weird.
do some sort of a thing in case of emergency.
Yeah.
And everyone does,
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
like we just heard the other day that just yesterday, when we were in a park, we heard that, this father who never got baptized because he just couldn't, he just couldn't come to the terms that this was right, but yet he couldn't prove that it wasn't. And so he allowed his wife to sign the child. He signed his child away so that it could receive, the card that says no blood, but he had to sign his rights to the son away. We're like, what? And it was on Rick's show, Rick with Six Screens, and it absolutely did happen. And when Dad said he'd never heard of such a thing, no one had,
No.
but he had to sign his rights away to his child
Yeah.
for this blood card, I guess.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that what
That's
it
right.
was?
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God, so why not houses, Dan? Why not the same kind of
exactly. Or quick
process?
deed them, if
Right.
something happens and we gotta leave, quick deed them to the org. It's
Yes,
something weird. This to-go thing is not something light. It's not, it's more, I thought it was just fear. But then when I saw the video in the camps, they're literally telling them you're gonna go where Jehovah tells them, wherever that is. It seems like in the woods somewhere.
Dan, do you think that they're gonna start having all the dads who are not baptized sign away their children? So
I
actually, the
don't
truth
know.
is, it's like they're not that way. Then when they take them away to this camps, that the fathers don't have any rights
I
over
don't
the
know. I
children.
don't know.
I
There's
wonder if it's
children.
gonna start to be.
Well, they're already doing that with Bethelites. I mean, the kids that are going
Oh,
out
that's
to
true.
the
That's true.
movie thing, they basically sign away their rights,
That's
every
right. I
right to
forgot
have.
about that.
So they're already
it's-
doing that.
Yeah, it's gonna get more. And I'm gonna tell you my theory is that they are gonna have a box. This is just like a training, like they're telling them have trainings on the evacuation thing with your, anytime we call on you, we want you to show your backpacks and you have everything ready. Then we're gonna say, did you forget anything, brothers? You need to be prepared, like a drill, right? But I feel like that these boxes are just a prelude for another box that will be in there that's going to have, like the lady showed me, she's in the laundry in Wallkill, and everybody's got these barcodes that are placed on each one of your clothes. It's a barcode, and she does all the laundry along with other people for the whole entire Wallkill. So it's almost like you have your own laundry service there, and she's in the laundry department. So I feel like that they're going to have ID cards and probably your camp you're to go to, important things you might need in this little box for every family, so that when they say go, that you have your ID, and this is my theory, okay, and your camp you're to go to, and all your instructions and how to get there and whatever else that you need. I feel that this is a drill number one with stupid magazines in it, but drill number two will be a real box with real important things in it with regard to instruction. That is my prediction, not prophecy, prediction. That's what I think they're going to do with this box. So we'll see.
Guys, thank you. That was our recap of the convention. We went undercover. And so very interesting what's going on. It'll be interesting to watch from out here and not inside. I mean, those people don't know where they're going.
Can I see your notes again? There was also, they had a 92.
Exercise. What's it called? Exercise patience.
Oh, yeah. Exercise patience. Yeah, that's on. There was a radio station that they were telling you 92.3, was it?
92.9.
92.9 FM was their radio program.
Yep.
And,
wait on Jehovah till he shows us favor. That was the theme all the way through.
Anything else we should we don't know?
Nope.
Yep. Okay.
Just that they had 35 baptisms,
31
baptisms. And so pretty large convention, but it was a lot of territory. I didn't think it was a lot of people for Boise, Meridian, Caldwell, Twin Falls, Ontario, Mountain Home. I mean, that's a lot of area to just have that few people.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, but the convention, the upper part was closed off, but the lower part was pretty full. And
I thought that the upper part was open, but it was full, but on this side it wasn't. So they had a portion that was not knocked off. And also too, we kept seeing these people with these big, huge containers, see if I can of that were for you to give your donation. And they displayed them, going through and then up and then back and then later on, and giving a lot of attention to these donation boxes.
Now I didn't hear them say that we were short, because that's what they normally say. We've fallen short, but we know Jehovah will take care of it.
Yeah, they didn't say that this time.
So anyway,
Okay,
I think that wraps it up, guys.
Yep.
So thanks for listening. And if you want to pass this on, please pass it on, like our channel, and let's keep it growing and keep it going. And anytime we end up going undercover for some reason and putting on the suit and tie and going to one of these places, we'll let you guys know, as we're keeping a watch on these people. This is a cult, and it's getting real syrupy. It's getting real, like I said, it just pulls at you, didn't it?
Yeah, Dan, it
When-
really, really did, because they are absolutely brainwashed to believe that we're the ones to be destroyed.
Yeah,
And so they're very much separating the people from everyone else in the world.
yeah,
That they're the ones who are going to be in those camps, and no one else. You're going to be killed on the way by the bad people, but don't worry, Jehovah's going to destroy them soon. So they're very much in their minds. These people are, we're the team, we're the group.
Yeah.
But everybody else outside of these walls are the bad people, and that creeps me.
yeah. It's like just
creeps
this
me.
family, like a convent.
Yeah.
Like they show them walking up with their supplies, and the other people taking them, and like they made it home somehow in the middle of,
Yeah.
of the forest. They made
Yeah.
it home,
Yeah.
Like that's your new home.
It's the start of one anyway.
Yeah, the start of
the start of the new world.
Yes.
But
yes.
what is it, Dan? Okay, so let's just take this a little bit further. So they believe that, as soon as God destroys those bad people out there, including those renegade guys with guns and all that, as soon as he destroys that, then we're going to go and take occupancy, right?
Mhm.
But they burn down their own homes.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You don't have anywhere to go back. So they don't want you to think you have anywhere to go back to for some reason.
Right.
And yet you're going to take occupancy.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not
And here's
figuring
what they
that
said
out.
too. If you guys want to see this video, they said jw.org has it ready to download the
Oh,
whole thing, the
Convention.
whole drama.
The whole 3 days.
Yep. And the drama, the whole thing. So
Okay.
if you want to see this tent city and see what they're preparing these guys to do, you can go on jw.org and you can look at this whole video and see what you think. See if you think they're preparing them for some massive exodus somewhere.
Yeah, and what if they did tell them to drink the Kool-Aid? Anyway, I don't think. I mean, they're trying to say that they're going to be prepared for learning to train people in the camps. I think they mentioned something about practicing the training while they were there, getting ready for what Jehovah was about ready to do, to destroy these people, and then the resurrection, and then we're going to train them. We're going to continue training them. So it'll be interesting, how they intend to save all this training materials that they're doing in Ramapo, although they're in the camps and hiding out for safety, like a safety camp, until Jehovah destroys everyone. Yeah, it's confusing a little
Really
bit.
yucky, guys.
That's yucky poo, and I don't like it. I don't
No,
like
it's
it.
really culty feeling.
Yeah,
So-
my church is the same, Worldwide Church of God. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
And the
yeah.
second cult I was in too was yucky
Yucky,
poo.
yucky. It's only us and everyone's got to
Yeah.
go. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm
Okay.
gonna wrap it up. Thank you
All right,
for
thanks.
tuning in. Like I said, like the channel, pass it on. Please pass the video on. Let some people know what's going on in there inside the watchtower.
Yeah, sorry, I'm so sad. I feel so sad. I
Yeah.
feel so kind of depressed a little bit. I'm sorry about it,
Yeah.
but that's
Probably
what
the
I
energy
feel. Yeah.
kind of thing,
Oh man, I need to
just-
go walk.
Yeah, you gotta
Take a
cleanse
bath.
this stuff, wash it
Yeah.
off us. Honestly,
I
it
feel
was
gross
toxic.
afterwards.
Yep. All right,
right.
guys.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.